What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting into something a little different, but also kind of connected to my last video on Class from the Elite. We're talking about main characters, but not just any main characters. The smart ones. The manipulators. The planners. People who don't just win. They make sure you never realize you lost in the first place. Now, real quick, I gotta say this. There will be some spoilers, nothing's insane, but I'm not about to ruin an entire series for you. But I will be talking about what makes these characters dangerous, what they've done, their feats, and why they even belong in this conversation. So if you've been thinking about watching any of these, this might actually help you decide. Alright, with that out of the way, let's start with Yuichi Katagiri. Now, Yuichi is one of those characters where, at first glance, you might underestimate him. He doesn't scream genius manipulator right away. He seems pretty normal, maybe even like a decent person. But the deeper you get into his story, the more you realize, yeah, this dude is not someone you want to deal with. Because early on, it's revealed that he manipulated his own mother and lied to her while she was on her deathbed. And that alone tells you everything you need to know about how far he's willing to go. Now, I'm not saying he's just straight evil with no depth, but what makes Yuichi dangerous is how ruthless he becomes when he's pushed. The second he's put into a situation, his mindset immediately shifts to, how do I get what I want out of this person? Not, how do we work together? No, it's always about control. And what makes this even worse is how good he is at reading people, emotions, body language, hesitation. He picks up on everything. He knows exactly where your weak points are. And once he finds them, he doesn't hesitate to use them against you. He doesn't just outsmart people, he breaks them. And that's what separates him. A lot of smart characters can plan, they can strategize. But Yuichi specializes in emotional destruction. He'll make you doubt yourself, your friends, your decisions, everything. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're already done. And on top of that, no matter what situation he's thrown into, he always finds a way to flip it. There's always a loophole. Always something he can exploit. It's like the game he's never actually against him. It hasn't caught up yet. Now personally, when it comes to pure manipulation, I'd actually give Yuichi the edge over the next character. But the next guy operates on a completely different level. Light Yagami. And yeah, I already know some people are going to say this is obvious, but there's a reason Light is always brought up in these conversations. This man was controlling an entire narrative on a global scale while being hunted by the police and working with him at the same time. Think about that for a second. Light's biggest strength isn't just manipulation. It's his ability to think ahead, not just one step ahead, not even two. This man is thinking 5, 10 steps ahead at all times. He doesn't just make plans, he creates entire systems that work in his favor and shifts an entire narrative on the public. There are multiple moments where his life is literally on the line, where one mistake could expose everything, and he still manages to come out on top. That level of composure under pressure is insane. Now yeah, Yuichi might be better when it comes to breaking people emotionally and getting inside their head on a personal level, but Light is playing a bigger game. He's manipulating investigations, controlling information, and influencing how an entire group of people think and act. That's not just intelligence, that's dominance. But even with all that, there's still one character I'd love to put above him. And yeah, you can call it favoritism if you want. Kiyotaka, Ayanokoji. Now this is where things get different, because Ayanokoji doesn't think like a normal person. He doesn't react like one either. This all stems from where he came from, the White Room. The White Room selects different people at a young age and doctors them into becoming geniuses. If nothing is absolute perfection, they are punished. That's why his main narrative, his main goal in life is to always succeed and win, no matter what the cost. He, in fact, barely processes emotions the same way at all because of where he came from. He doesn't sympathize. He doesn't panic. He doesn't hesitate. And that right there removes one of the biggest weaknesses most people have. You can't manipulate someone who doesn't react. And that's why Yuichi would struggle against him. All that emotional pressure, all that psychological manipulation, it just wouldn't land the same way. Ayanokoji wouldn't break. If anything, he'd just observe, understand it, and then counter. And that's what makes him scary. He's always in control, even when it looks like he's not. And if it somehow came down to something physical, it's not even a question. Ayanokoji can handle himself there too. So now you're dealing with somebody who can outthink and outfight you. That's not just dangerous, that's unfair. Now when it comes to Light, yeah, the Death Note is a huge advantage. I'm not ignoring that. But even Ayanokoji's biggest strength is the way he moves. He stays hidden. He doesn't need recognition. He doesn't care about credit. He doesn't have an ego that forces him into unnecessary risks. He already knows what he's capable of, and that confidence allows him to stay persistent. This may be why Light Yagami failed in the end, and managed to get caught, and killed later down the line. His ego got in the way. But someone like Ayano Koji, that would never happen. His whole power play is what led to Light Yagami's downfall. There are multiple times when he manipulates outcomes, gathers information, and influences results, and no one even realizes he was involved. Even during major scenes, like the island exam, he stays completely out of the spotlight while still controlling what happens behind the scenes. And that's the key difference. Light wants to be seen as justice. Yuichi wants control over people. Ayano Koji, he just wants results. No attention, no recognition, just victory. And that's the scariest part. You wouldn't even know you lost until it's already over. And that's why, in my opinion, Ayano Koji takes it over any of the other main characters. But that's just how I see it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Who do you think is actually the smartest out of these three? And more importantly, if they all went head to head, who's coming out on top? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Take care, everyone. Hope you all have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.